Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Has begun. Welcome to the first episode.
I'm Shiva.
I'm Anand.
We have another different 10 seconds, which is funnier.
And we don't have a name for the podcast yet.
I like Ingenious Bastards.
Yeah.
Because, let me tell you what bastards mean, apart from the meaning that you might have, learned in Game of Thrones, which is when people have sex and have a child who's when they're not married. But it's either an unpleasant or a
Despicable person.
Despicable person. And or the adjective means no longer in its pure or original form. I like to use the adjective. So, and what does ingenious mean?
Ingenious basically means a genius, huh?
Yeah, basically means it, but cleverly inventive is what they try. So that's me, right?
That's what we hope. That's you. And I'm the bastard.
You're the bastard. Or we can take turns on episodes.
Exactly.
So what is this podcast going to be about, Anand?
So it's primarily going to be about two bastards talking about shit that concerns them. Probably talking about interest, current affairs, and basically whatever the fuck we want, right?
Yeah.
So
while drinking apple juice.
Apple juice.
Apple juice.
This is basically ginger ale with
apple juice.
With a little gin, but let's call it apple juice
for now.
Yeah. Let's keep it PG-13 for the first
audience,
episode,
right? Yeah. I want to
probably
create a wider.
The first audience is going to be probably 5-6 of our friends or family members. That's over it.
Not sharing this with family for now.
But let's hope we go from 5 to 500 pretty soon.
Yeah.
That's the aim, right?
I'm sure nobody else wants to hear about our background anymore. So what are we going to talk about?
A lot of questions I have.
I've kept.
I've been eager. So before we start, right, I wanted to ask you because I've been waiting to do this for a long time. So we've been discussing this for 3-6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been waiting to do this for a couple of years now.
Okay.
Because I'm a fan of podcasts. I listen to podcasts every.
The Ranveer show.
I haven't listened to the Ranveer show for sure. I'll be very honest, but so I've been listening to podcasts for almost I can call it a decade by now. But it's been more than 6-7 years for sure, right?
Okay.
So I've been wanting to do it, but never got a chance to do it. Never thought I'll do it, but pretty cool. We are able to somehow start this, right?
Not sure if this will ever go live, guys.
Yeah, never
if it does,
never
this will be the first.
All we are trying to do is not suck our first time.
Try not to suck.
Try not to suck.
We might suck.
We probably will.
Probably will in the first episode.
Yeah. But, I've been...
With ingenious people.
Ingenious.
I think you should vote for this name.
Wanna be ingenious, right?
Yeah, I like this name. We're still not decided, but we're ingenious bastards.
So we're getting ingenious for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
We're not sure about the bastard thing, but...
I think that's a good one too. Because we're not pure anymore,
Yeah, my mom's not gonna be happy with that for sure. Well, let's see. So, we've been talking about doing this for 3-6 months now. Right? And so I was talking to you about starting a gaming channel, which, apparently a good day for us. You started your own today.
Today itself.
Yeah. And I've been still waiting to get a PS5.
Alright.
Yeah. So, I've been last 6 months, lot of discussions. That time everyone was like, dude, you can't get a PS4 because the PS5 is just on the horizon. Right?
On the verge of coming.
Yeah. And it's been how long now? I think in November is when the PS5 launched.
Abroad, yes.
Abroad. And by now it's December the 2nd, right? The 3rd, what is the date?
3rd of December.
3rd of December, right? And PS5 has launched all over the world except for India.
But all over the world?
Yeah, it's launched all over the world.
Alright.
Except for India. And, I'm still now debating, should I just go and get a PS4? Because the way things work in India, I'm not sure if I'm going to get it for the next couple of months or not, right?
I think you should probably wait for an exchange offer, but that's a personal opinion. Usually, if you have an old PS, it's you get a good deal on Flipkart and Amazon. But what's the reason that PS5 is not entered India?
That's so first is a very funny one, right? Because so usually when PS5 is launched, right, we expect Sony to get a trademark already in that particular country. Right?
I remember
this fucking bastard, based out of Delhi.
I like Ingenious Bastards.
Ingenious Bastard. Like couple of months ago, before the PS5 launches anywhere in the world, goes to the trademark thing in India and gets a trademark for PS5. Right? And the fucked up part is
first search, I wrote guy in India, and the first search is guy in India trademarks PS5.
Exactly.
I didn't even write it. Hitesh Aswani. Mr. Hitesh, I'm proud of you. You've done a good job. Even though the gaming community is a little disappointed because you've caused unnecessary delay in the launch of the PS5, but I would want to meet you, and someday maybe we can get you.
He's probably going to be broke by the time you meet him, right?
So why he's been sued?
Yeah, obviously he's going to get sued.
But Aswani has now withdrawn his application.
He's withdrawn, but I don't think Sony has paid him to withdraw
they have not paid him, but I don't think they're suing him because it says first reported by Detective Gaming. Aswani has now withdrawn his application. Alright. But don't you think these guys, so even for OnePlus, Sony, these guys should already have trademarks till say about PS10 or PSX, because a lot of people on the 10th edition write to use the Roman number, and you've seen iPhone do it. You've seen OnePlus X launch after one. I don't know what sense that made. But don't you think these guys should already have a trademark on the next set of, if they know the names, why not have a trademark on it?
They should have. So it's either two, right? Either someone at Sony in India basically fucked up and didn't do his job and didn't get the trademark. The second, the reason I think India, I don't think for Sony, India is a market which they consider in, their plan A. Most of the sales
I
which
disagree though, with mobile gaming at its peak, because now after smartphone penetration, that is something. So I'm doing my MBA, by the way, which is supposed to end in another few months. And all of the projects that I've done on e-commerce talk about how India from 2017 to 2020 has quadrupled in terms of smartphone penetration, in terms of data usage. So did you know, so I was in this lecture by the CMO of Airtel, the average data usage per Indian is 15 GB per person.
And that's every month or?
Every month.
Every month.
And the average usage abroad is 5 GB per person. Now there's a technical term by which they measure revenue called average revenue per user, ARPU. If you're accustomed by the telecom industry, you'll know it. If you don't, it's ARPU, which is average revenue per user. And the average revenue per user in India is $2, which is 160 rupees odd. And we have good speeds, and we use 15 GB per data per person. And in today's day and time, data is literally the cheapest in India. Whereas the same data abroad has an ARPU of at least $8, which is 4 times of our current ARPU over here.
So in layman terms, the data is more expensive abroad than in India.
And telecom companies, that's why are profitable there, and that's why we're suffering here. We're not suffering, not the consumers, the telecom industry. We are enjoying it.
But if you look at the point, the average, whatever the average is for a person earning in a country is probably 10 times that,
Agreed, but that does not reduce the expenses that a telecom company needs to make, right? It's a disruption that Jio caused by entering the market. So I read this article. If you want to see it, I can just bring it up. I'm not sure if
you can probably put it in the description. So
this is the camel inside the tent, and if you guys, we'll put it in the description. Probably share a link, or just to show you for a second over here. This is an entire news read of how Reliance Jio, is the camel who got inside the tent, and whatever techniques they used to get in, and probably Mukesh Bhaiya has too much money to get us banned. So I don't think in the first episode,
He has all the
Yeah, so
money.
let's just scrap this for now. I don't want to go against this guy in the first episode. So yeah, so whatever. So I was saying,
You want to go against the richest person
no,
in India?
Mr. Armani,
in the
I have
first
complete respect. You're a great
You're
man.
fucking with the wrong guy on the first episode.
I'm not gonna even say that Dhirubhai was better. I think you the man. Teach Anil some shit, Anil fucked up. Anil fucked up bad, He's defaulting on all payments. There's an organization that I used to work with, and he still owes us money. Not the organization.
Hasn't like Mukesh or whatever.
He bailed him out once because mummy told him to. because mom told him to bail him out, but I think he's defaulted again.
He defaulted again.
Yeah, it's in the news. I can just pull it up. Reliance Communication. So the share has gone down to 1.65 rupees. Defaults. Yeah. So you can just. So the default amount is 28,825 crores. Mukesh Bhaiya, you need to help Anil Bhaiya. Anil Bhaiya can't do anything right now, but I think he's defaulted again. Yeah. So this is January, and he bailed him out in September of 2019.
Last year, right?
Yeah. So so that's been happening. So again, we're digressing.
I think mommy's gonna call again, I guess.
I guess, because after Harshad Mehta's case, I've seen, people die in jail on it. You just go to Bhaiya and ask for help, and don't get us banned. We're speaking.
We've had enough controversy for the first episode.
I think we'll cut this part out. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll discuss. But we're digressing from the topic. So I think Sony realizes that there's a huge market here. Of course, the prices are unaffordable in terms of the PS4. So we expected to launch at somewhere around 50 to 60,000 rupees.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So the PS5 with the digital drive.
Yeah, without the CD. Yeah.
No, with the digital drive, with the DVD and stuff, is supposed to be 50,000.
Okay, with the DVD.
Yeah.
And without the DVD, should
it's
be
40,000. Yeah. But that's still probably 25-30% expensive than you get it in the US or anywhere else, right? But the point being, Indians don't mind paying the 10,000 extra. But
the affluent Indians, yeah.
Yeah. But the messed up part is there's no launch date yet.
So this has been solved. The trademark issue has been solved.
This was cleared. I think this caused a delay of a couple of weeks for sure. And the gaming community in India was, half of them were
Hitesh Aswani. Remember the name. I'll make a movie on you when I'm rich. The Hitesh Aswani scam 2020. I'm talking shit. Probably.
But it's half of them were pretty, upset about it. But it caused a delay for a couple of weeks. We were expecting it to,
So
Amazon,
why is it hasn't been launched yet, This has been cleared. We just saw the news. So what's the delay?
The Sony, the last thing I think they tweeted about it is that it's going to be launched soon. And the fucked up part is Amazon and Flipkart, both of them have PS5 on they have a separate page like they have for OnePlus usually most of the time. And it says late 2020. So, we are in December first week now and pretty late in 2020. Still don't have it.
So what's funny to me is that you said that, like OnePlus has this page created. So this page goes way before OnePlus. But it is how OnePlus has leveraged it over time that, everybody relates these exclusive launches with OnePlus because they've done it so well over the past years with their exclusive tie-up with Amazon and how they launch their products and the entire community building. So again, probably not one of the topics we decided to discuss, but they created a virtual reality wherein you create your avatars and you can, since this pandemic is here, so when they launched the 80, they gave you an opportunity that you were able to virtually stand in a line in a queue out of a OnePlus store to get your hands on a OnePlus, which you would have done in the real world if you were a hardcore fanatic. But now you have an opportunity to do it virtually so that that experience is not compromised. And I think they do it pretty well. Even though there's a ban on Chinese goods, and that's something we can cover later on.
But yeah, OnePlus has done a good job in India for sure.
So we
That's
are
undeniable.
we are their biggest market. OnePlus sells more in India than it sells in China.
Recently, I think 2 days ago, Amex recently did a tie-up with OnePlus.
On there's OnePlus Fridays, it's called, and they were giving a 10% off on. So every Friday they come up with different schemes, and on Friday they were giving a 10% off up till 5,000 rupees. And if you see the latest models, they're close to 45,999, which helps you utilize 4,600 rupees of that offer. Apart from that, you get reward points. If you're using a platinum travel, it accumulates to the 4 lakh rupees spent, which probably we'll talk about in a different episode. But the entire savings overall, it was a good offer to buy a OnePlus, is what I'm trying to say.
The offer still stands? Or?
No. It was just for one Friday. It's called OnePlus Fridays. And they had this offered a week ago as well. Or 2 weeks ago as well, but they keep coming up with the offers.
Got it. So coming to the point, you were discussing how like mobile gaming has increased in India, right?
So I think it should be a major market for Sony to focus on giving the gaming culture. So I started my game streaming today, and what I've realized is that there is a market for it, and it will grow. So we don't have Amazon Prime Gaming yet. But Facebook gaming has come into India. YouTube Live now supports, games and specific tags like Twitch does. Twitch does it better. There's hands down. That's where I've started doing it. But I think there's a market, and Sony should avoid any delay at any cost. And the last thing that I would want to say on this topic is that there was a case that I did called Xbox versus Sony during my MBA last week as well, which talks about the difference in the pricing of Xbox and Sony. And Xbox by far has always tried to be $100 cheaper than the Sony, but still hasn't been able to beat. So Xbox S and X are the 2 new versions coming out. But the kind of response, like we're talking about PS5 here and how somebody trademarked, any publicity is good publicity, right? People are looking forward to it. People know that, so maybe I'm a Sony fanatic, I'm a PS fanatic, that's why I don't know about Xbox. But I don't even know the configuration for an Xbox X and X. What is the difference? I don't know. But if you ask me of a PS5, I would be able to give you some sort of details. So I guess Sony has been commanding that market share, and they should focus more on India. We are a growing market.
Yeah, but we'll probably have an update soon on the PS5. Yeah. But coming to that mobile section, right? Because last 6 months, what's been going on is PUBG Mobile, right?
PUBG. And,
people dying.
I hate those guys, man. I'll tell you why.
There's people using dad's credit cards. There was a news like this guy used like dad's credit card and spent like 70
My
lakhs.
dad.
All of your dad's spending, you spent on like buying clothes on PUBG, right?
Thankfully, my dad has a bad CIBIL score, and I think he played the banks or the banks played him back in the day, whatever it was, but he can't get a credit card that I could just exploit now, because as you get older.
But PUBG has been in news for the last 2 months, especially since, the Indian government started banning these Chinese apps and stuff, right? So they started with, random apps like, TikTok shouldn't be a random app, but like 30 different
so share chat, you have WPS office. So these are all Chinese apps that the Indian government said was a threat to national security. And I think that is one statement that is difficult to argue with. I can't go to Mr. Ajit Doval, who's our national security advisor, and tell him that, how is this a threat to national security? He'll probably just slap me and be like, you think you're qualified enough to ask me that?
It was
question.
More like a power move, right?
I agree.
You could call that, right?
I agree,
but if you're going to fuck with us in the border, this is where we're going to fuck with you.
So I think you've heard about Sonam Wanchuk, who's the guy Amir Khan played in 3 Idiots.
Okay.
And he called for a protest saying that we should, as Indians, boycott all Chinese apps and within this year, and Chinese hardware in the next year. But if you look at the statistics, we have not been able to boycott hardware, and the sales of OnePlus and other Chinese apps has increased, and given due credit to them because they've advertised that we make it in India, and we're giving jobs to the Indians. But it has increased because the capabilities required to make such hardware are currently not available with India. Now Micromax has come back with their new model, but still I feel they're not at par with Xiaomi or OnePlus, and they're still continue to do well. We continue to purchase products. So even if you see a JBL or a Blopong is Germany, JBL is US, they're all manufactured in China.
Yeah, everything, 99%. So even the iPhone you use
is China.
Right?
So irrespective, you can't ignore them. I'll give them that. And the only power move that we could make was in terms of software, because we have the right to ban them, right? Because if we banned hardware, it would have been difficult for us to. So, for example, what happens with PS or NVIDIA graphic cards? I know I'm going a little technical. The reason they're so expensive in India is because they're imported and not manufactured. And if you ban all this hardware in India, and if it is imported, then the iPhone, the OnePlus, everything will get more expensive, right?
Exactly.
Which is somewhere detrimental to us only, I think, in the long run.
And that makes me think about the infrastructure point of view, right? If you see like how the infrastructure for gaming has, evolved during the few years, what do you see like going forward, the infrastructure for gaming in India, especially considering what happened with PUBG, right? If you can also explain to the audience how, how we get like the servers locally, most of the servers for PUBG were, international, and that's how they're able to, by moving basically the servers to India, they're able to get PUBG back in India, right? So how does this actually work?
So I think this is something, so going back to the infrastructure, back in the day when we started, somewhere in, can we smoke while we talk? It's okay.
You smoke, you drink, you do whatever.
Make me a drink. So I remember back in 2002 or 2004, I'm not sure of the year, when we got internet, when I first got internet, it was a dial-up connection. And the infrastructure since then has evolved thanks to Jio. I would thank
But
them.
Jio happened like 2 years ago.
I know, but the infrastructure evolved in the last 2 years. The optic fibers of the world had to come in. So I had a copper connection. The difference between a copper and an optic is in terms of speed. They can offer, a copper is limited to maximum 35 to 40 Mbps, which is megabytes per second. Whereas an optic fiber can go as high as 1 Gbps, which is 1 gigabyte per second, right? And all this happened because Jio came in the market. They had, again, like the camel in the tent. We will post the link or probably the article. I'm a huge fan of how they acquired it, and they were entering. So Airtel had to up its game to ensure that they can compete. So that's what happened. And in terms of the server location, what happens is your ping and your latency. When you're playing the game, you sometimes see a lag, right? You just get stuck in the game.
So when I'm playing PUBG, there's this MS thing, right?
Yeah,
so
MS,
30
correct.
MS which you get is pretty good.
Correct.
Sometimes we're getting 200 MS when you're playing on the different servers.
So the difference in the MS majoritarily is basis the location of the server that PUBG runs on. So for example, I'm Airtel, right? And you're playing on an Airtel connection. Now, if the PUBG game is loaded on Airtel servers, so in the Airtel building, they have Airtel servers, and imagine the PUBG server being in the Airtel server, in the Airtel office. If it is located there, your MS, what you're talking about, will go down as low as 10-15 MS, because the difference between the server and your internet connection is marginal. There's nothing,
So basically it depends on the internet
location.
connection which you have and the location.
Yes, and the location of the server. So for example, Valorant recently came up with a Mumbai server. So from a ping of 80-85, while I was playing with Singapore, because they have a good internet connection, good strong connectivity, has come down to 30. But imagine if that Valorant server was located in my internet provider's office. This could have been as low as 10 and 15. Coming back to PUBG, I think they'll come back. One thing that I would advise all the viewers is what happened with me is I used to always play as a guest when I started playing PUBG. And one day, all of a sudden, I think my phone formatted all the data, and I tried logging in as a guest.
You lost all your clothes.
I lost everything, and I wrote them emails for as long as I remember, and they replied that why won't you link your email ID with it? There's nothing that we can do. I was like, it's okay if you can do nothing, but I had this character called the name was Easy Bait. That's my Steam channel as well on Twitch. So I said, just let me use that name. It's okay. I lost everything. I understand, my fault. I used to play as a guest. I should not have. But let me use it as a game. They said, we cannot verify if you would really the Easy Bait that you were talking about, because I sent them screenshots. They were like, these screenshots can be from anybody.
Something similar happened to me on Twitter like 5 years ago, right? So I had this, Yahoo account, right, which was linked to my Twitter account. Kung Fu _Handa at that time, right? And it was so I used to use Twitter a lot. I was following a lot of people, still had like 100 plus followers, so I had a decent, my like people from school and everything were following me. So I think it was 3 years ago, something came out that, about like a 5 million, Yahoo email IDs got hacked and shit, right?
Yeah.
So that news came out and I was scared as shit because I had some personal shit on my email, right? Like everyone does.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you can't save it on your phone, you save it on your email, right?
I'm sure.
So I fucking deleted my email ID and I lost my Twitter ID because of that. So I didn't have a backup phone at that time updated on the app. I didn't have a backup email and I fucking lost it, right? So I have Shah Rukh Khan fucking replying to me on my Twitter ID and I had to lose. I eventually lost that handle. So that was so sad. One of the worst days of my life.
So 2 questions. What did Shah Rukh Khan reply to?
I asked him, I can't remember the phrase.
I think you sent me a picture or something.
I did. Dude, everyone I fucking know, I sent him that picture.
Look, SR replied to me, mama.
Exactly. I don't know, because I asked him something, because I remember that time I was going to college, right?
Yeah.
And I used to watch a lot of like Shah Rukh videos, especially interviews.
Weirdo.
More than, dude, you can call me a fucking weirdo. Yeah, I was a fucking weirdo at that time for sure. But, I used to watch a lot of his interviews and stuff, and he used to use this word believe again and again. Like every time you ask him a question, I believe this, I believe that.
So you see that poster, it says believe you can, and you're halfway there. So that's
exactly
strong.
So that's, that stuck to me somehow. And that's the question I asked him. That why do you use the word believe so often? And he replied to that, tweet.
What did he say?
He said, I don't have it in front of me right now. But
whatever you remember.
Yeah. He mentioned 3 words. I believe, I achieve, something and one
like
other word.
Okay.
I like all these 3 words.
Okay, I believe, I achieve, I conquer types.
Yeah, something of that sort. So he replied to me. That's like highlight of my 20s for sure.
Pathetic.
Yeah, pretty Dude,
okay, second question, which I'm gonna just pull up, that you kept your name as Kung Fu Handa because it rhymes with Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
What do you feel about this Handa that got famous on the internet for cats? So, like I said, I'm doing my MBA and I used it a lot.
Some other Handa who is famous?
He's bloody well famous, dude. It's called Handa Ka Funda. And as you can see on the screen, he talks about CAD, SBI, MOX, ZAT. So he's considered as a guru for your MBA training. And you see all these video reviews.
Yeah, he better become a sponsor, huh?
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, how does it feel to be an inferior Handa?
No, that's probably for the time being, right?
Yeah,
6 months down the line, you
yeah,
never
like,
know.
I hope so, because you know you have me.
Probably we're gonna get an email.
Yeah, I'm just saying you have me pulling you up. It's okay. You know, but I still feel that Hardaga Funda has done well.
I'm proud. Like
I think the
honestly,
alcohol
right?
is getting to me because I'm saying and
You know.
So okay, moving on. So what were we
You're
talking
pulling
about?
me out now.
Yeah, we were at PUBG and the ban. So I'm glad they're coming out because so just to summarize from my end, and you can add, is that I missed PUBG. Honestly, You never missed it. You were fucking playing, bro.
But
This guy has been playing without a fucking VPN. I don't know how and why PUBG has been so kind to him. I did a mistake that I clicked on that update button once and it stopped for me after that. And I missed it. I tried Free Fire. I tried Call of Duty. As he mentioned that I play a lot of games. I enjoy playing games. There's another game that I want to develop, and that's why I'll not take the name. When we're famous, I'll develop it, and you will all play it. You all will play it. But
I don't want to tell them how I play it because the government's going to be after me.
As it is, you pissed Mukesh Bhai.
You already pissed
Already
off
Mukesh Bhai is pissed. Mukesh Bhai, respect.
Bhai. But because you play a lot of Dota as well.
Yeah.
So and I hate Dota. The reason being my roommate fucking in college used to play 3 days, straight.
So Dota has evolved. But continue. Dota has evolved.
So that's how I was introduced to Dota because this guy was screaming for 3 fucking days.
It's toxic.
With his friends.
It's toxic.
For some reason. And all I could see was there was something green and there were like 6 miniatures like flying around and shit. So, I saw in the news about something like, due to the pandemic, there's like competition for 40 million or whatever. So is Dota seriously that famous? Like,
so let's just start with the Dota 2 prize pool over the years, right? So
prize pool, explain like what.
Yeah, I will. So let's just start with that, and to my surprise, NDTV India has covered it. That is something that I did not know. So it's bigger than the Wimbledon. It's bigger than
hold on. You're telling me Dota, this fucking game, is bigger than...
In terms of prize pool, yes.
So whoever wins,
earns more than Roger Federer or Mr. Nadal.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
So the prize pool, as you can see on the screen, is on International 10 was $34 million. And this year, which is International 11, it's crossed 40 million. And every year it keeps on increasing. The controversy behind is that the pro circuit. So basically with that money, Steam. I'm not sure if everybody knows about Steam. Steam is basically a publisher owned by Valve. What do I mean by publisher? Publisher is basically... So you must have read books. Penguin books, Pearson books. These guys are publishers. So if Anand Handa writes a book...
Like HarperCollins, right?
So yeah, HarperCollins, correct. So these guys publish your books, right? Similarly, publishers publish your games, apart from developing their own games as well. So Dota 2 is it's a funny story. It's like Steve Jobs and what happened with Steve Jobs and Microsoft. Similar to that. So Dota 1 was a game launched by Blizzard, right? So the game was called. Sorry, my bad. The game was called Warcraft 3. And
Dota was known as Warcraft.
Let me just I'll drive you through it. So Dota is basically a custom map in Warcraft 3. Okay, custom map. And as per the terms and conditions of Warcraft 3, which is owned by Blizzard. Blizzard is something which has been which is joined with Activision, who creates Call of Duty series as well. So they're pretty famous. They're like the biggest gaming giants that you can think of in the US and in the globe. So, but they gave an ability to developers to create custom maps in the game. So Dota was a custom map in Warcraft 3. Initially, that's how it started. Now, while they give this rights to developers to create this game, They never limit. So, for example, when you join an organization, you have to sign a document which says any innovations or anything that you create in the organization will be owned by the company. You must have read this clause.
Exactly.
So they didn't put this clause.
So someone fucked up and didn't put this clause. That's
probably somebody fucked up, or they thought, this will always stay inside their Warcraft 3 engine. But what happened was Steam, Mr. Gaben. You should search about Gaben. Gaben is the god of Steam. Gaben, Steam. Gaben Newell. Nickname Gaben is an American businessman, co-founder and president of video game developer and digital distribution company Valve. He's an asshole.
This dude, his net worth is 400 crores USD.
I think that's underestimated.
That's how you become an asshole. You get that net worth and then you're an asshole. When you are
and he's married to Lisa Neville, who was born in 1996. She's younger than me.
That's how you
call
motherfucker. That's what you call fuck you money, right?
Yeah,
once you have that fuck you money, you
look at her and look at him and look at her. Look at him and look at her.
There's like too many people
look
who
at
pissed off listening to this.
So what he did was he acquired the developer who made Dota for Blizzard in the custom map, and he paid him good money to make it a game for for his own platform called Valve. And Dota is basically Defense of the Ancients. So he could not use that name. So he used Dota 2. And since then, the game has started evolving. So they started with a small prize pool. But what powers the industry is the Pro Circuit. So Pro Circuit is a base of tournaments that keep on happening all across the globe, that everybody plays in. And the winners of these tournaments, get shitloads of money. Like I told you, more than the Wimbledon, more than Mr. Tiger Woods in his golf championships. I don't know what.
40 million is something.
40 million is the entire prize pool. So the first guy, so it's usually split in the top 5 people, but the first team at least gets 10 million, which is at least 2 million per person, 5 people team, right? So 2 million per person. But due to the pandemic, all the tournaments were more or less cancelled. We had 3-4 and Team Secret is leading the way. I know you know nothing about it, that's why you're not interested.
No idea.
But the problem is that they stopped the Pro Circuit the way it used to happen every year. And a lot of teams got disbanded. A lot of players who depended on the Pro Circuit for a living had to stop playing. And the recent team who stopped playing was Ninjas in Pajamas. They were new in the news 2 days ago. I love names that the teams keep. It's like Ninjas in Pajamas.
I know who Ninja is, right? The guy with the the weird hair and
no.
Ninja is a popular guy. He's the gaming guy.
I know, but Ninjas in Pajama is a clan.
Is a
team name.
Achha.
For 5 people. So basically, they stopped the Pro Circuit. That's the problem in following how pandemic has been developing globally. Recent increase in predictability. We can't commit to the new dates for TI-7 and the Dota Pro Circuit, the DPCs. We will share your eagerness in returning to these events. We'll announce. And these events happen in stadiums. So you've seen cricket. I know you're an MMA fan. So you have a stadium full of fans watching your teams play on big screens, and they're in the stadium. It's amazing. So you should follow it. But yeah, so the circuit has been dying this year because of the pandemic. And a lot of people are pissed at Mr. Gavin that he should support the teams during this pandemic, and he has not done that.
He's busy with Lisa,
man. Look at him, this guy.
I'm looking at her.
Fucking this guy. Look at this guy.
He looks like a gaming developer for sure. That's what I can tell you.
Dude, he's...
I've seen this guy.
Yeah, so he is always related to Mr. R.R. Martin, or who's this guy of Game of Thrones? The owner.
I can't recall.
So let me... Game of Thrones... Mr. Martin. So his name... He looks similar. I'll just show you. I'm not sure.
But what I think...
George R.R. Martin. Sorry, yeah, you can go ahead now.
But I was, going to talk about virtual reality, right? That's what I think a lot of people are kind of, I can see like developing games on that.
Look at this guy. Doesn't he look like Gavin?
Dude, he was in Game of Thrones, right? He's the creator of Game of Thrones or what?
Yeah.
Did he write the books or produce the show?
Write the books. But yeah.
Fucking
but he looks like Gavin, right? All these... I want to know.
Pretty similar.
I want to know who's he married to for some fucking reason.
It's not Lisa.
Dude, spouse is Paris McBride, born in 2011. Don't tell me.
That's probably a daughter, yeah.
I don't know. Much married in 2011. Thank God. I thought, dude, we just embarrassed ourselves on podcast. M means married, not born.
Going to be our first time for sure.
Alright, so I think I'll cut this out. M meant married, not born. He was married in 2011. He's not born in 2011.
Yeah, stupid. So Gail is the...
Anyhow, you were saying virtual reality.
So he has basically two spouses. That's what you mean.
Everybody in America has two spouses, and if they don't, like they're not mentioning it, but it's America. It's the land of dreams.
The land of opportunity.
Land of opportunity.
So anyways, I was referring to virtual reality, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, a couple of these people talking about a game called, it's either a game or Second Life, right? That's been like, a talk where a lot of people have been, included in. So wanted to get your take on that. So have you played that game?
Yeah, back in the day, the organization, that's why I know the parent company, it's called Linden Labs. And Abby Altberg is the current...
People are calling me to play
PUBG. It's not long. How are you playing PUBG?
Dude, I don't want to tell you.
VPN!
No VPN. Without a VPN.
Your friends are using it even if you are not.
They have to. One of my friends paid like fucking $100 for it.
Hey, I also... So in my college, I'm not allowed to play games with banned games. So I also bought a VPN. But I think 2,400 rupees for an year with my Bitdefender. It's called the Hotspot Shield. And I think that's just $30 a year. $30 a year.
Anyway, so what is this Second Life here?
So let me just take you through to a YouTube video.
Hopefully we can show them a YouTube video of what exactly it is.
So all about Second Life. This is land. You can buy land. Or I just wanted to give you a year in life. Yeah, let's just... I'm not sure if they can hear this. So basically this is a virtual game, right? So basically this is a world in a virtual reality and there's no game as such, it's not like you have certain objectives to meet, but this game has a museum, it has beaches, it has hills, and you can buy land and create a restaurant and charge for it, and people can pay in real money for it. And people who want to play for free can play for free as well. But if you want to, so for example, it's like, would you be my friend? Sandra accepted your friendship offer. So it's basically a game that has gained traction in the pandemic because you're not really going out and you want to make new friends, you want to talk to people. A major problem, and I want your opinion on this, is that a lot of females in the game...
She's wearing a lingerie, right?
So I'm just saying a lot of females in the game are actually males. What do you think about that?
No, say that again. Lot of females in the game.
So it's like creating an email ID saying sandra.bollocks@gmail.com.
No, so just to get it. So this...
Both of these guys could be males. Dancing. Yeah.
So there are two different people who are playing the game.
Correct.
In the game.
Correct. Oh. These are two different people playing the game, but the female could also be a male,
yeah, that's happened. Yeah, that's what 3 days ago I sent a request to Deepthi 420, right? I thought it was a girl, but
it was Deepthi 420. It's obvious it's not a fucking girl. You were like, I don't know.
But that's what happens in the gaming when you don't show your face.
Yeah.
But
so what I want to ask you now. So you asked me too many things. It's on you. and I know you're a MMA fanatic and a boxing fanatic. So I want to know about Conor McGregor's upcoming fight. That's what you start with. And the second thing I want to know is Mike Tyson's new fight, and then I'll give my opinion on it, that how it's scripted. And I know you'll hate me for it, but
No, so
no. You don't need to answer it right now. You don't defend it right now. I'm saying that you start with Conor's new fight coming in. Maybe add a little, a thing or two about Khabib retiring because of his father. I appreciate it, but I don't think he should have. He's a guy who's never lost, and I would have.
he.
So that's what you start with. Let me
Yeah.
just end, and then you end with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, but starting with Conor, right? Conor, like if everyone knows probably, I'm a huge fucking Conor fan.
Yeah.
Right? Conor McGregor. So he's fighting in 23rd of Jan, I think. That's the date. He's fighting Dustin Poirier.
Hey, Dustin, he's fought twice before, right?
No, once.
Only
so
one.
He
won,
fought,
right?
Yeah, exactly, right?
I remember Dustin fight. Yeah.
When Conor was coming up, that's when he fought Dustin Poirier, right? And the only difference now is going to be he fought him at 145 pounds, right?
Okay.
So whoever doesn't know Conor, he was a champion at 145 pounds, and then he became a double champ. Champ.
He likes to call it champ.
Yeah. So he became a champ at 155 as well, right?
Yeah.
So when he was like an upcoming fighter, he got pretty famous after 2-3 fights, right? And then he fought Dustin. It was a very I watched it live, so I remember that exact fight. So one of the famous things about Conor was at that time was this guy fucking used to tell the opponent, this is how I'm gonna beat you, and exactly at this moment I'm gonna beat you. And so it's gonna be either in the first round, the second round. He used to call it.
So sorry for interrupting. He believes in law of attraction. If you've read The Secret, I'm sure a lot of people.
So what had happened was, so he has a sister, right? When he was growing up, I think he was 16. Her sister gave him that book, The Secret.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So this is new to me. Yeah.
He tried reading the book, but then he ended up watching the video, just like me.
I've read the book, by the way. I've read the book, and
So that's how he started believing in The Secret, and he talks about it. So there's a different, separate podcast he did with Tony Robbins.
I've seen that podcast.
Yeah. So we'll probably share a link with for that podcast. Okay. It's a pretty good one, right? Okay. So he talks about it on that. So one of the interesting things he used to do, the law of attraction is basically, what you think, how you imagine things are going to happen, and then you go and make that happen. So before wrestling, before fighting, right, how he was practicing it, because there used to be a mall in Ireland, and there was a separate space, there's a lot of space in a mall for, parking your car, right? Yeah. So he used to imagine every time, like, this is the spot I want to get, and it's going to be free when I reach there. And a lot of times he used to like go to the mall, and the spot used to be free for him. So and he used to be fucking. That's how he started, and that's he explains in the podcast. That's how he built on it, right?
So I have a vision board behind me, and you can't see it in the video, but I have a vision board. The book talks about a vision board of the things that you want in life and how you envision them. When I moved to Mumbai, I shifted the vision board to my hostel, and it's there, but because of the pandemic, I can't show you. But anyhow, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, good you got that in there, right? Yeah. So basically, he used to practice that, right? And when his UFC career began, right, he was calling out people, and he was like in the conferences and stuff. He used to, I'm gonna fucking knock you out in the first round. Your head's gonna bounce to the canvas at this particular moment, and that's how he did it, right? So Dustin Poirier, that fight was a big one, because Conor, I think he had a fight when he was in the prelims or whatever, and then he had a fight in Ireland, and then he was in Vegas, right? Yeah. So that fight, I remember there's an episode, a UFC embedded, there's a TV show which basically a YouTube show which they do before games and everything, right? So, and they were going back and forth. Whatever he said, he exactly
executed it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dustin has improved a lot. He's gained a lot of following because he's a pretty nice guy. I think he's from Louisiana, however you want to pronounce that name or whatever. But he's a nice guy. He fought Khabib, he lost. He also was able to get the belt. I think Max Holloway was the guy he beat, and he was able to get the belt and stuff. So he's fighting this guy again. Okay. He's a southpaw. I'm obviously rooting for Conor. I think he's going to win for sure because his boxing skills are, on the next level. And, a lot of people call it, the touch of death. That's his left hand. When he hits people.
But Khabib fucked him, right?
So Khabib, so MMA basically stands for mixed martial arts, right?
Yeah.
So, which basically means lot of disciplines included in one, right? So there's boxing, there's jiu-jitsu.
So yeah, if you can see on the screen, it says he knows how to box, mixed martial arts, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, karate, taekwondo, kickboxing, and capoeira. So he knows a lot of fighting forms.
Yeah.
But I think it's over under.
So the issue with Khabib is Khabib is pretty good in the ground game, right? So
submissions.
The ground game is on the next level. And he's better than the American wrestlers.
Everybody is better than...
So Russians are famous for that ground game, and he's on the top of the top in the ground game. Nobody can beat him there, right? What we were expecting in the Conor Khabib fight, except from the bad blood which they had, that's a separate fucking podcast.
Even after the fight was over, I remember.
Even the fight was over, fucking Khabib jumped off the cage and stuff.
Everybody, whatever,
yeah. But so basically, Dustin is not that of a he's a wrestler. He does wrestling and stuff. He knows it like Conor does. But Conor's gonna probably second round max. Probably it's going to be the first round. His last fight in January of this year took 40 seconds. To the guy, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who has the most, fights in the UFC, who has the most knockdowns in the UFC. So he beat that guy in 40 seconds. So I'm pretty sure, even though Dustin has improved a lot, and it's been, I think, 6 years since they last fought, Conor's going to win it. And he has a motivation behind it, right? So since the loss to, Khabib, all Conor wants is to fight again. Because he thinks basically he can beat.
So Khabib never gave him a chance to redeem himself,
That's the reason why, because Khabib hates Conor, right?
I know.
He doesn't even want to give him a chance to do it.
And now he's retired. So what do you think? Is it a good move for him to retire? Because he was doing, even in the last fight, I think, who did he fight in the last fight? I think it was last month, I remember.
Justin Gaethje.
So I don't know how Justin Gaethje ranks against Conor and Khabib, but... I think he beat him in the second round itself, or third.
Yeah, second round.
Second or third. So do you think, I know the rationale behind it.
So Conor went 4 rounds with Khabib.
Which is the highest anybody has gone.
No, so there are a lot of people who've been 5 rounds with Khabib. They've won a decision, Khabib's won a decision and stuff. But Conor went 4 rounds. That's, more than we expected, first of all. The second thing is basically Conor won a round. Until then, Khabib, except, winning a fight, Khabib had never lost a round. He was the first person to win a round against Khabib, which was unheard of, right? So he was doing something right. He has the capability to knock out Khabib, for sure.
So that is something which is still undecided now, since he
lost.
He will never get a chance of redeeming himself.
90% of the people will still put their money on Khabib because that's how it does it, right? He'll figure out a way to get Conor on the ground, and once he gets on the ground, he's the winner. Right? Yeah. He'll figure out a way. But if they are both standing up, there's no fucking way he can beat Conor.
So
and I'm not trying to be a Conor fanboy. That's what
But I think that's an
personally think.
opinion. You know,
Yeah.
that's an opinion.
Yeah.
and
I'm
you
letting
can't-
everyone know that's an opinion.
There's
But,
no way of you proving it. But my question specifically is that I feel Conor is a businessman as well, and that's where his so he believes the law of attraction, that what we talked about, and he's a businessman. He started this whiskey company called
Proper 12.
Proper 12, right? And
That's been doing
fabulous across US, Ireland, UK.
He started multiple businesses, right? Proper 12 is one of them. The other one is the Mac Life,
Correct.
which is basically a media company.
And
which
August
follows
McGregor clothing line
That's
as
the
well.
clothing line.
Yeah. He's been doing well. But
and then he also has the McGregor Fast program,
So-
which is basically a training program for getting
correct.
fit and shit.
So my question is that he's been doing all that, and somehow I feel he's more commercial. So when he started, he was a boxing enthusiast, right, or an MMA enthusiast. Sorry if I said boxing, but then he fought Floyd Mayweather, and I know you're a big fan of Floyd as well.
Yeah.
And that was a fight that you looked forward to, and remember you waking me up at 6 a.m. for the fight. So I think he became commercial, and my question to you is that during this commercialization process, and I'm moving to Mike Tyson right now, is when he fought Floyd, again he survived all the rounds, and he lost basis the judge's opinion or
So he got knocked out.
In Floyd.
Yeah. I think it was the 8th or the 9th round.
But I thought it was a total fight in terms of the total decision was basis the total 8-5 fight.
No. So Conor got knocked out.
Okay.
So a difference between, MMA and boxing is like fucking 12 rounds, right? MMA is 5 rounds.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So MMA, you're supposed to give everything you have every single second. Boxing is more strategic. So Conor did well. If the boxing community is listening, right? Most of the people thought Manny Pacquiao was the guy who was supposed to beat Floyd Mayweather, right?
But
I think Manny Pacquiao, who's one of the best boxers all time, probably landed like 5 shots on Floyd. Conor landed 15.
Yeah, he's that good
first.
though. Yeah, I've
Conor is
seen
pretty
videos of him dodging shots and
But coming to the point which you were saying about, how he transitioned from MMA.
and also how it's scripted.
That's a separate story.
It's
right?
scripted.
It's not, but
Everything is fucking scripted in boxing.
we need to agree to disagree, right?
So to my point.
So listen to this, right? What I was trying to explain is, for example, an MMA fighter, a regular one, not let's exclude Conor or whatever. An MMA fighter, for a fighter, how much he's earning, 100k, 250k. Now, if he gets to Conor McGregor level, who, the only person I can think of is Khabib, or probably GSP, whatever. That's in millions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, right? That's what usually a MMA fighter doing fucking well, top of the crop, is earning, right? How much do you think he earned in the Floyd fight?
I think it was close to 8 odd million, right?
It was close to 100 million. So probably Floyd earned about 200 million.
200, 250,
Yeah. Conor about 100.
Yeah.
So, you also know who Dana White is, who runs the UFC promotion, right? And he made this point, right? When you're earning $1 million or 2 million for every fight, and then you go promote and get a fight and you fucking earn 100 million, even if you lose the fight and everything, you're fucking 26, 27. How are you going to motivate yourself to go back to that cage where you think there is an option you could die? Most of these fighters think like there is a chance I could fucking die or I could get like brain hemorrhage. So that's how, they mentally think, right?
So just before we move to Mike Tyson, Manny Pacquiao is also fighting somebody, right?
Yeah. So he's been fighting after the Floyd fight. He lost to Floyd.
I remember that.
That fight was fucking 4 years late. It should have been 4 years earlier. But he's been fighting like top guys. But he doesn't make that much money, right? He's like a guy like who's fucking like perfect Christian. He says the right thing. He doesn't know how to.
So Khabib is
promote
also like a
himself.
perfect Muslim.
Yeah, Khabib became Khabib after beating Conor. Khabib
Agreed.
wasn't making that much money. He wasn't that much
Agreed.
famous because Conor was basically following Floyd, right? You're gonna watch it. You're gonna pay for it just to see me lose. That was the concept, right? That's what the promotion was, right? Because half of the people were. So I understand, like half of the island was in the stands and everything. The whole nation is behind him, right? But there were a lot of people rooting against him, and that's how he became famous, right? And that's when Khabib beat him. Khabib went to the next level.
So who's Manny fighting now?
So interesting story on this. Conor, as we were talking about Conor's businesses, right? Yeah. So he also owns a little, stake in, I think it's called Paradigm Sport. That's the sports agency, he's tied up with. So this guy basically...
So there's this news, sorry to interrupt, on September 25th, 2020 that the boxing champion Manny will face former two-weight UFC champion Conor McGregor in the ring next year. Is this true?
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. So basically, what I was coming to is the sports agency, the managers who, manage the athletes and everything. I think, if you can find out the name, Paradigm Sports.
Paradigm.
Sports agency, right?
Yeah.
Sports management. And that's been, founded by, what's the name of this guy? We can see on Wikipedia.
Audi Atar.
He looks Indian, isn't Indian. But anyways, so this is the guy, this is the company which basically manages Conor. And a lot of other fighters and a lot of other people in sports as well, right? Okay. So they recently...
He's an MBA, by the way.
Huh?
He's an MBA.
Oh, just like you. So anyway, Adi Atar, right? This guy, they were recently able to get Manny Pacquiao. So they signed Manny Pacquiao a couple of months ago.
And they have Conor as well.
And Conor, actually, that's what I think. I'm not sure about it, but that's my understanding. He owns a little stake in the company as well.
All
right. And Conor, being a good businessman, he understands if he does a fight with Manny in a boxing ring, he's probably going to make like 30 times more money. And that's going to be half of the work he does. So that's what they're trying to do.
So there's another interesting story which says, you remember when Conor was at his peak, he demanded a stake in UFC from Dana White.
That's what happened after he, won the second fight.
Yeah. Two championships.
Double champ.
So, and Adi Atar, whoever this guy is, he backed him for ownership. That, he should have some sort of ownership in the entire UFC bit. So do you think, to my point again, and Mike Tyson's recent fight, he went 8 rounds. I think 8, you're saying there are 12 rounds in boxing, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was an exhibition fight.
So exhibition fight, he went 8 rounds and, they went 8 fights and then it was called as a draw. With Mike Tyson or
which shouldn't have. Yeah, it was called as a draw.
So to my point, Mike Tyson coming back and fighting whosoever did he fight?
Roy Jones Jr.
And then the decision being a draw somewhere seems like that it is scripted. And we've heard this about the IPL.
So that was basically... So, a meaning of an exhibit... So, first we need to understand the difference between a professional boxing match than an exhibition boxing match.
Okay.
Right? A professional boxing match is that something really is on the line. It's a professional career. Right. If you lose, if you win, it's going to come in your professional record.
Right? All right.
An exhibition match is basically you're putting a show for the crowd. Even though there's no crowd.
So, for example, in the pandemic there's no crowd. But for example, when Sachin Tendulkar and Diego Maradona, God rest his soul, he recently passed away. He came for a cricket match to Kolkata.
That's an exhibition match. It's not not gonna go in the history books, right?
Alright.
You're doing a match for the fans, right? That's what the Mike Tyson fight was.
Alright.
That's the reason why it
So you're
was 8
saying that
rounds.
that can be scripted, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the reason being scripted, basically that you're not trying to knock someone out.
But otherwise, you feel that professional boxing is not scripted. It's just that these exhibition fights or these high-profile fights. So, for example, I feel that the Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather was also some sort of.
There's
scripted.
no fucking way. I don't believe it. Like,
just saying,
not being a Conor
there's
fanboy.
no fucking way that Conor would have survived in a boxing match.
No, he survived for 8 rounds and he got knocked out.
That's why I say that it's scripted. My point is, I'm not denying it. So we're entitled.
So I'll tell you why the people think it's scripted, right? The first few rounds, Conor was able to land a lot of shots,
punches,
right?
And
never.
Mayweather is known for
Mayweather
dodging,
is 50-0 right
and
now.
He's known for
getting that, right? So a lot of people have this, thinking that the reason he was landing punches was because
Floyd allowed him.
Yeah, but my point being that usually how Floyd fights is he tries to guess his opponent. It takes a couple of rounds and then he's able to solve the mystery.
Spoken like a true fan.
Yeah. So that's what I think. Yeah. But I have a feeling that Conor versus Floyd is going to happen again sometime soon.
Oh, right. But I think Manny will happen before that. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So one of the reasons why he's fighting,
Manny.
Dustin Poirier.
Okay.
Because both Dustin Poirier and Manny Pacquiao is southpaw. Southpaw is basically a different fighting style, right?
Oh, right. I did not know that.
The opposite, basically. So that is the reason he said it in one of his tweets. That's the reason why. Because he's going to fight Dustin. If he doesn't get the Khabib fight, he's going to try to get the Manny fight.
So he's not getting the Khabib fight anymore. That we're sure of.
The problem with the Manny fight is that he's, how usually the contracts are done at UFC. It's not done for a fight. They give you contracts for 5 more fights, right? And you're obliged to do it for the next few years. So you can't just go out of the way and fight someone else. So he has to, get the blessings from the UFC. Dana White, he is the god. Funny thing from Dana White, when you were mentioning, right, how he was asking for a stake at, ownership at UFC. That's the year UFC was sold to a company for $4.2 billion, right? Okay. And that's what, one of the reporters asked Conor McGregor, what's your worth? And he said $4.2 billion. That's what my worth is.
So this is a little embarrassing, but I know Dana White and I know Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, and I know he's one of your inspirations to start this podcast. So who's Joe Rogan?
So Joe Rogan is basically he's the funniest guy ever. Yeah. So Joe Rogan is a guy who practiced martial arts starting probably when he was in 7th or 8th grade, right? I'm not sure if you have seen that TV show. I can't remember the name. If you can just look it up. It's one of those TV shows where you have 10 people and you make them compete against each other. What do you call that? Yeah.
So Joe Rogan has been a part of Fear Factor,
stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I think he became popular at that time. He was doing Fear Factor. That's when he, the time when he had hair.
Looks similar to Dana White.
Now he's, pretty similar. Yeah. So he was always a martial, he was practicing martial arts and everything, right? He was interested in that shit. And when Dana White and the Fertitta brothers...
He started his career in comedy.
Yeah, he's a comedian. That's what he does right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm just saying.
That's like his side gig.
Yeah.
But he does comedy. He's a comedian as well, right? So when this UFC thing started, right? Dana White noticed he's a martial art. He does martial arts. He knows how to speak. He's been on TV. And they approached him like, do you want to do commentary? And he was like, fuck yes. I want to do commentary.
UFC Insider.
Yeah. So that's when he started doing commentary, right? And And then the Joe Rogan Experience, which is fucking like popular on Spotify right now. He started fucking with a video camera. He just started inviting, because he has a career in comedy as well.
Yeah, I remember.
So a lot of comedians he knows, right? So a lot of his close buddies from the martial arts, from the comedy stores, he used to invite them and fucking have a conversation. That's how the Joe Rogan Experience started.
Yeah, and to be honest, I heard of him after that Elon Musk experience, which went viral.
When he...
Yeah. So you know him before that, I'm sure. But that's how I got to know of him.
So a lot of people got to know him after the Elon thing happened. Because Elon fucking...
got high.
So big fan of Elon. Fanboy of Elon as well. Both of us. So when that Elon thing happened, right, a lot of people fucking like...
So if I can pull up... Sorry, now we're digressing. Elon Musk evolution, if I can write. Because if you see, he looked ugly as fuck.
So that's the problem. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted
This is Elon then and this is Elon now.
That's fucking... That's $10 billion later, right?
Yeah. 10? Like he's now
probably
close to 50.
Yeah,
but 2015 was 10.
Yeah.
But like, dude, he's different.
So Elon, we were discussing last week as well, right? That's how, the company PayPal, that's how he made his money.
But
right?
I respect him for...
But he had the fucking...
never give up attitude also.
Yeah. But like, the point is like, fucking if you start a company, you sell it, you get fucking like probably $200 million for it, right? What are you going to do with that? Either you could fucking move to like, a fucking like beach or whatever, get a house and enjoy the rest of your life. $200 million, you're probably like...
But $200 million in 1999, I would want to tell the viewers, assuming a 5% inflation and compounding it to 2020.
So just for the viewers, I'm just referring 200. I'm not sure what exactly he made.
Whatever it
but
was.
He made a ton of money.
Yeah,
that's
it
what
was
I'm trying
billions
to
in
say.
today's day and time. Yeah.
So basically he, whatever the money he had, he fucking...
There's a photo which is inside Elon Musk's hair transformation, how he did it. Hair guard.
If I had my Twitter handle, I would have asked Joe to ask that question. Because I want fucking the same treatment.
Yeah, you're losing here, bro.
Yeah. Anyways. So coming to the point, what I was mentioning is that, that Elon pod which they had.
And Joe Rogan.
Yeah. So Joe was pretty popular in that kind of community as well. But it made him a little more mainstream, right? Yeah. So then he did the deal with Spotify, which everyone knows about now. All of his podcasts are exclusive on Spotify now. Right. So, dude, like hundreds of millions of dollars, fucking like just from two people talking. That's a lot of money.
Sometimes more than two. But
but the one thing I admire about Joe Rogan is that. He speaks the truth. Whatever he wants to speak about, he does.
That's what bastards do.
Yeah.
Coming back
to but a different meaning of a bastard is that, your parents are not married.
Mr. Martin can add to that. We were just at Mr. R.R. Martin. But yeah, he's made that meaning famous. But the adjective means something which is impure. And I think all of our community, humans as people, are no longer pure, and that's a personal opinion. Again, haters gonna hate, but so moving on. So there was.
So your next question was the Mike Tyson fight, which I answered, but I want to.
If you want to add, add.
I'd like to add because something happened in that fight as well, which is being popular, right? And I know you don't know about the Paul brothers.
Yes. Right? I know about the Paul brother who's the manager for The Undertaker, who recently retired.
That's Paul Bearer.
So, whosoever who is
retire,
Undertaker. Paul Bearer died?
Yeah, he's dead, bro.
So before I continue,
he wants to make sure on Google that Paul Bearer
American funeral director. He was a funeral director. Oh yeah, dude, he died.
He's dead,
and now I remember he died. But Undertaker also retired. Undertaker
a couple of weeks ago
at SummerSlam. That's how he started
Survivor Series,
and I think this guy has been the longest of any WWE superstar who's
Dude,
been
I'm a
in the
huge,
business.
I've been to a WrestleMania, so
Yeah,
I can
you-
tell I'm a fucking huge wrestling fan. For
But
sure.
yeah, he retired, and Undertaker has never lost a fight at WrestleMania. Did he lose to Brock Lesnar?
He lost to
Brock Lesnar.
That's
yeah.
when the
Brock
the
Lesnar.
streak
That's
was
the only
broken.
fight that he lost. Yeah, probably. But anyhow, you were saying Mike Tyson.
So I was seeing what I was referring to, the Paul brothers, right? The Logan Paul, Jake Paul, right?
Yeah, I know.
So Logan Paul is a famous YouTuber, right? He's been
Yeah, I remember
since like 6-7 years.
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie.
Yeah.
PewDiePie always likes to make fun of everyone.
Yeah.
So PewDiePie is the greatest, probably the YouTuber of our
He also
generation.
retired at a young age, but I guess
Who?
PewDiePie
He's
is
still there, bro.
but he is no longer doing his own channel. Yeah.
He has his own channel
But
every day.
No, so he's not no longer.
No,
doing
he's still there. PewDiePie is still there, bro. PewDiePie is like one of the funniest fucking guy. Like, Felix
Despite
is the name.
continuing to produce content, PewDiePie has declared that he has already retired from YouTube. November 13,
November
2020.
Dude,
So
I saw he
so he's
posted
saying,
a video.
Yeah, so he's saying he's continuing to
That's probably
produce,
a clickbait for
no,
sure.
no, dude. So this is gaming news. Gaming news never lies.
But no, so he probably retired from gaming sessions and stuff.
yeah,
He's
so
still making
basically,
YouTube videos, right?
he's still making videos and he's still talking to his own fans because
He has a mustache now. If you see his recent videos,
but losing 19.3 followers in the process, quitting YouTube. But
How many? Do you
19.3 followers.
million followers?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
So he decided to stop his mainstream. Now I think he talks about different things, but he's technically retired.
No, but so we'll have a topic next time. I want to talk about PewDiePie, right? So we'll have a topic.
Let's get back.
Why do you think he's famous? We'll have that for sure.
I know.
But the reason, so Mike Tyson fight, what I was referring to.
Yeah.
So Logan Paul is a famous YouTuber, right? And his younger brother is Jake Paul,
Logan
who's
Paul.
now become a fucking boxer. So he started boxing. Fucking, it's probably his third fight or whatever.
Yeah, I know this guy.
And he fucking smashed this ex-NBA guy in the prelims, bro.
Uh-huh.
And he fucking, who do you think he called out? He called out fucking Conor McGregor. That's the funniest shit ever. And he called out the other guy, Dillon Danis. You probably don't know him.
Yeah.
So Dillon Danis is the guy. If you remember, you mentioned Khabib after the Conor fight. You know,
Jake Paul broke my nose. Yeah.
So after the Khabib fight, after that Conor fight, Khabib went out of the ring, right? He tried to beat someone up, right? That was Dillon Danis.
Who was in the corner for Khabib?
Conor's teammate, basically.
Conor's teammate?
Yeah, Conor's
Khabib's
teammate.
Acha, this
Khabib
guy,
tried to beat him up,
right,
right? That's how he jumped and everything. So, and Jake Paul and Dillon have a history of sharing a girlfriend. So, they have a history together. So, he called out
They've
Dillon.
been in the same hole.
Yeah. So,
Pardon my language.
so he called out Dillon. And he's like, I'll go through Dillon and then I'll go
Yeah,
to
but I've
Conor.
heard Dillon is good too.
Dude, he's one of the best jiu-jitsu guys.
That's
So he's also very good at the ground.
Yeah, what I've heard.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one I want to talk about because this is going to be like something interesting. He's also trying to get a fight with KSI. KSI basically beat his elder
Who's
brother.
KSI?
KSI is also a famous YouTuber from the UK.
Okay.
So YouTube, like a lot of YouTubers.
The first thing
on the
is,
show.
who is Jake Paul's ex-wife? Dana McGregor. I want to search her and know who all she's been with.
Dude, you should stick to Lisa.
Lisa. Gavin is like the guy. Dana is nice. Anyhow, I will not. So this is all you wanted to add on the Mike Tyson fight?
Yeah, so the Mike Tyson fight was
digressing completely.
yeah.
Digressing everything.
So fuck the Mike Tyson fight because they was like 60-year-olds fighting, but this Jake Paul beating Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is a guy who's 5'8", our height.
Yeah.
He used to.
I'm 6'1", dude.
I'm 5'8", but whatever.
Your height.
So yeah. Not my dick size. Anyway, that's a story for a different day. So this guy, Nate Robinson, was a pretty famous NBA guy. You know, a low-key guy, dunk over Shaq and stuff. So he was a pretty popular guy. Ex-NBA. He beat the shit out of him. So Jake Paul probably, got a lot of followers or whatever in the last few days. He's trying to get a fight with Conor and Dillon. He'll probably get a fight either with KSI or Dillon in the next few months, but that's an interesting thing. We're probably gonna have a conversation about it in the future for sure.
R.I.P. Kobe
and Tana.
God bless. God bless America. Not India. God bless America.
It sound right, boys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Over now.